Hello.
Ooh, echo.
Hello. Welcome. This is Ezekiel.
And Sarah.
And we're here today with an episode of Marriage Matters Live.
Yes.
All right. So thank you so much, everybody that's joined today. Thank you, those of you who were waiting before the stream started. We really appreciate you guys.
Yes.
Today we are about to go in with another juicy episode of Marriage Matters.
Yes.
Do let us know in the comments if you can hear us loud and clear.
Yes, please.
If the visuals are good, if you can see it, it's looking crispy. Just type crispy or just give us a thumbs up and let us know that the visuals are looking good.
Yes.
How are you doing today, Mrs. Akinwin?
I'm fine.
Yeah, you're looking mighty fine too, my sister. Mighty fine.
Just give me a minute to just be like, yeah. You know, I love you, babe.
I love you too, my sister.
You're looking good though.
For real.
Yeah. Because obviously, do you know what I mean? I'm not going to say it on air, but...
Yes. Listen, we're here for Marriage Matters Live, yeah?
But obviously, if any of you has noticed, you know, like, yeah.
Anyway, let's kick off of it. Yeah? Let's jump to it.
My cheeks are still full, but hey, it's okay. It's okay.
Let's jump to it. So, today, we've got a really interesting topic for you guys today. Indeed, we do. It's been a moment.
Yeah.
Not seen you guys for a minute, and we're here today to talk about. Are you really? Do you think you're marriage material?
Yes.
Here on this channel, we talk about everything that is marriage and dating, relationship related. We want to help singles be prepared for marriage, and we want to help marriages enter into that place of prosperity,
yes.
That excellent space of marriage. So
love, fullness.
Here to help you enrich your marriage.
Amen.
Okay, so
Right, let's just welcome everyone. We welcome all of you that are joining us right now. We can see some of you here. We have got Mrs. I Can Win, Kat Johnson, Kerry Brandon, hey, and we've got Queen B, and I'm sure there's some of you there already that are not saying anything in the chat. Feel free to let us know where you're watching from tonight, what part of the UK you're in, and again,
or the country, or the world.
Or the country, or the world, exactly. And again, you know, we do like to say that, you know, your comments mean a lot to us. Your engagement means so much to us as well in the show. And we will do our best to read all the comments later on in the show. So, yeah. Yeah,
massive. Just kind of building off what Sarah's saying. Listen, your comments help us foster this conversation.
Definitely.
So we can't really do this without you. We can talk to each other.
Yeah,
we can do it. We kind of do it.
We can talk to each other for days.
But trust me. But with you help us foster this to make it something that's really helpful to you guys.
Yeah.
So if you don't agree, if you agree, share with us and let us know so that we can ensure that we're tackling the issues and the challenges that you want to be tackled.
And your comments, your questions, you know, and even experiences as well, things that you've experienced, things like that, feel free to just write it in. And yeah, just it's a safe zone, as we like to call it. It's a safe zone, okay? So even though, you know, the comments are going to be there, but trust me, it's a safe zone.
Yeah, so this is a safe zone for you to conversate with us. All right.
Oh, well, thank you, Mrs. I Can Win. Wow, thank you.
So if you're joining us for the first time as well, just add first time in the comments so other people can welcome you. We're kind of like a family, so I want to welcome you to the Marriage Matters family. I told you what we talk about in this playlist.
Definitely.
Okie dokes. I think we're going to have to cut to the chase. So,
yes.
Mrs. Akinwin.
Yes, Mr. Akinwin.
The question is...
I'm like, what's he going to ask me? What's he about to say?
No.
Get all hot flustered.
Nothing you don't already know. Forgive me for looking down. I'm just trying to make sure that all the tech is good. Yes. So I was going to ask you. So the question is...
Yeah, babe.
So you think you're marriage material?
I think I am.
So I really want us to talk because we've kind of debunked the idea the last few weeks. If you've not been here with us, the last few episodes, the last two episodes, we've kind of debunked some ideas. We've debunked this concept of falling in and out of love.
Yes.
Do you know what I'm saying? We really spoke about that kind of fugazi, fake kind of
where it came from
experience, and what kind of sowed that seed. And then we spoke about the kind of false pressures that people like to believe hold them back from getting married. That was our second episode.
Yeah.
So now last episode, I was really talking about the amount of planning and preparation it takes to get ready for marriage.
Yep.
I said a lot of people get into marriage and they don't really understand the planning, the preparation it really takes.
Yep.
I spoke to you guys, those of you who were here, you remember, we spoke about, getting ready for your wedding. They go into wedding planner, budgets, XLSs and everything. But when it comes down to the actual marriage itself, we don't find people actually preparing for the marriage. So I wanted to really, for us to tackle that today, and that's the issue. How much prep does it really take for us to really establish whether we're marriage material? So let me spin it around a little bit. What would you say to your daughter? We've got two wonderful daughters.
Beautiful girls.
And if you were prepping your daughter, she's saying to you, Mum, I'm thinking about getting married. What would you say to her to ensure that she was ready? What would you say to her to ensure that, hear this, the person she was engaging with was truly ready for marriage? Tell me, Sister Says.
Wow. Gosh, when you put it like that, it's funny because that is going to happen one day.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Grace is 18 going on 19.
Come on now.
Do you know what I mean? She's not too far off. We were married at 22. Do you know what I'm saying? So anything can happen, really. So for me, gosh, that is such a big question. But the first thing for me is about the individual. You personally.
Yeah, tell me.
You knowing who you are, first and foremost, for me.
Yeah.
Okay, who you are in Christ.
Okay.
That's my first thing. How strong is your faith? Are you walking with God? Are you hearing from the Holy Spirit?
Yeah.
Are you reading your word? Are you praying? How solid is your foundation? In God.
Come on now.
Because for me, that's the most important thing. Because God is the center. God is the center of this all, and if we have, as individuals, if we have Him leading and guiding us, then we kind of know that, okay, everything else will fall into place. Okay. Even the person that will come will be the right person because you've prepared yourself and you've prepped yourself and you've sort of like the person, or I don't say, although you've asked me, what would I say to my daughter? But for me, it's the main thing. Do you know what kind of woman you really are? That's the main thing, because some women don't know who they are. And they enter into a marriage not knowing who they are. And that already is a problem. Because if she doesn't know who she is, and she engages with someone who doesn't know who he is, already catastrophe.
Do
you know what I'm saying? Or not catastrophe, but we've got a few years backlog here.
The famous Bible verse is, if the blind lead the blind, they fall into a ditch.
Right.
And essentially what you're describing is two people who haven't clearly identified their good points, their bad points, their strengths, their weaknesses, their character flaws. They've maybe not reviewed their past, so they're not really strong in terms of their understanding of they've never done a kind of a personal MOT, so to speak.
I like
so
that,
because of that, like, we take our cars into the shop to make sure it's all right and it's fit for standards. But people don't make sure that they're fit for standard before they go into the thing. So that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense to me.
That's a good point. So because for me, if my daughter knows who she is and she's walking with the Lord and everything, she might not even have to date. She might not have to go through that dating period.
We come in for
understand?
that.
It will be when he approaches, the Lord is prompting, that's the one. She won't even have to say anything. So for me, it's so important for her to have her spiritual balance right.
I agree with you 1,000%. Same point I made to you last episode. So we may have some people listening, some people viewing who aren't in that spiritual position.
Yes.
They don't have that same spiritual relationship that you've started to develop, that you're training your children in, that I'm fostering with my sons. They may not have that. So what would you say for people in that position?
Right.
We're talking to the natural person who's maybe not spiritually minded from a biblical sense, quote unquote. What would you say to that particular person there?
Right, and I love the fact that you've asked me that question, because obviously you started asking me what would I say to my daughter.
That's right.
Now what would I say to a lovely young lady who isn't saved, who isn't, walking, similar thing, but from a different perspective.
Tell me.
So it would be, what's her emotional her emotional, what's it called? standpoint.
Yeah.
How strong is she? How has she been hurt? What's her past experiences in relationships? What type of men has she dated in the past? You know, for her to begin to think about what she has gone through before.
Yes.
So when she's thinking about marriage, she can start to ask herself questions, in-depth questions.
Yes.
So everybody has the opportunity to look into the heart, into their own heart. You know, you don't have to be saved to look into your heart. You don't have to be saved to ask yourself questions. You don't have to be saved to be like, okay, am I really selfish? Am I caring? Am I forbearing? Am I understanding? Can I actually carry someone else's burden and be okay with this? You know, am I willing to share a bank card, one account? That's not a spiritual thing. This is straight up natural things. You know, am I willing to, you know, leave my mother and father and cling to my husband? Because some people don't want to let go of certain things. You know. And a lot of the times people, you know, when entering into, you know, that marriage zone, you really have to begin to think about, you know what, if I have to drop everything else and follow this man, am I willing to do that?
Yes.
And these questions are not spiritual questions. They're straight up normal questions.
Yeah.
You know, this it relates to everybody.
Yes.
Is what I'm saying. These questions relate to everybody. So emotional balance, where is she emotionally? What is her mental state of mind?
Yeah.
What has her past relationships looked like?
Yeah.
You know, what is she willing to do and what is she willing not to do?
Yeah.
You know, because when you start asking people these questions, it's a bit of a reality check. Oh, wait a minute. Am I willing to really not chat to my mum for see my mum for 3 months? I see my mum every day.
While you develop that relationship, new relationship.
I call my mum every day. Is it a thing? So, you know, all these things, because when you get married, we're not supposed to be running to our parents every 10 minutes. We have to begin to learn to deal with issues one to another.
Totally agree.
And some people have never had, or some women, I'm talking from a female standpoint, some women have never had to deal with being just
independent in that sense.
Yeah. So
that's really powerful. Rich stuff. Listen to me. Hope you guys have a pen. You see, she be dropping the wisdom bombs. Yeah. And it's great when you got, you know, when you're married like this and your wife can be talking and you be like, she just pinged me. No, let me just write something down. So, you know, make sure you got a pen to hand or you got some note-taking devices there with you.
Sweet.
So listen, what you were just saying to me just then was, it sounded like you were saying to me that even from a natural perspective, for you to be an effective life partner, for you to be an effective wife / husband, you need to be conscious. You need to be a person who has the ability to think objectively. You know, I like that phrase. So we're not talking about, oh, this is what I feel like. This is what I think. You're talking about looking at a situation, looking at yourself, and that's the most difficult thing. Looking at yourself and being honest. Looking at yourself and fully considering your weaknesses.
Definitely.
Is that what you're saying to me?
Yeah, 100%.
Powerful stuff. Powerful stuff.
Definitely.
So guys, I hope you're taking notes of this part of the conversation. What we're actually talking about is that for you to really be effective, Sister Sarah's brought it up now, for you to be a really effective life partner, you need to be objective. You need to be a person who's willing to look at yourself, to look at your partner, look at your present life situation and ask yourself how willing you are to move to a place that might be extremely different. So we're talking about one of the big things that comes up is where we're going to live. Where are we going to live? Where are we going to live?
And if you're used to living in a particular, you've lived somewhere, let's just say London.
Yes.
You've lived in London all your life. And then, you know, you get married and he's like, oh, we're moving to Manchester. You're like, sorry, where? Man who? I don't support Man U. I support Arsenal. Do you know what I mean?
And a big one for
a big challenge.
And a big one for a lot of the Christians is, what church are we going to go to? That's a big one, isn't it?
That's a big
one. What church are we going to go to now?
You're both attending church now.
And you may not be going to the same church.
Exactly. That's even another topic for another day.
Okay, so that's really, really powerful stuff. We spoke about that, and I think that what you touched on, really, I think we're in 100% agreement there. Building on from last week, as I said, your personal evaluation is important. Evaluation of your personal self is massive. So we've also...
I was going to ask you a question.
Come for it.
Can you just elaborate a bit more about this personal MOT thing? Because I kind of feel like you mentioned it, but I think that's a very, very good point. You know, and I think it's if you can really make it like relate to this topic, that would be great. If you could just give us a bit more about what you're saying about the whole MOT thing.
No problem, I will do. So in life as an individual,
Yeah.
we need to ensure that we are strong as an individual.
Yeah.
We want to be, so we're raising our children, we're ensuring that our children are effective members of society. You understand? That's something we've discussed. But we can only discuss that based on our own personal views of life, our individual worldviews.
Yeah.
So every family, every individual should have a life plan. They should have a vision for life.
Definitely.
Every married couple should have a vision for life.
Yeah.
These things are important, foundational bedrocks of an individual and of a marriage union.
Yeah.
Your marriage is an extension, or it's a development of your individuality. So of course you need that. So I'm not talking about a personal MOT. Essentially what I'm talking about is month to month, quarter to quarter, year to year.
Yes.
We should be evaluating ourselves.
Yes.
We need to be people that are focused on
that.
developing ourselves. If, for example, if you work a job in a particular place, that's right.
Yeah.
If you work in a particular job or so, you have appraisals, and essentially what they do is they evaluate you. They evaluate your ability. Generally in the city, we do it quarter to quarter, basically. So every 3 months, they're monitoring you, and they want to see how well you've done, what your goals are, what your targets are. And some of you may know, students in college and uni do as well. They call it a personal development plan, essentially something like that.
Plans,
and we have an extension of that at work. If it's important for work, where you may be dealing with hundreds, thousands, millions or billions. If it's important in school, where you're dealing with A-levels and GCSEs, how much more is
so
this
true.
important, an important bedrock
Yeah.
for your children before they even get to college?
Yeah.
For your older children who are in university and about to graduate out of that space. How important is this for you as an individual member of society? So let me tell you something, people. One of the first things, Sister Sarah said, when she's, Grace will be praying and the Lord will show her the guy. So when Grace sees the guy, or the guy sees Grace, and he engages with me, my first question is going to be, boy, or maybe young man.
Yeah, I was like, say, let's not boy him.
I won't boy him. What's your plan for my daughter?
That's right.
Hey, hold on. Before you even talk, what's your plan for yourself? And this is
the plan for
this
yourself?
is what we're talking. And I want to hear him say to me, these are my goals, and I review them regularly. I check myself. I have close friends and also family members I go to ask for counsel about my character. What's my biggest flaw? Right. What is my greatest strength? Right. How do you think I can develop myself? And if we don't have people that we're going to have them in our community, in our lives, that are helping us, maybe we've got the wrong community, maybe we've got the wrong environment. If we're not in an environment where people are encouraging us to develop ourselves, that's a problem. And that's a totally different conversation. I don't want to sidetrack, but when you talk about personal MOT, what I'm talking about is having a strategy for personal growth development. I'm talking about having mechanisms in place to review regularly, perpetual reviews to ensure that you're growing and developing. And this, just like GCSEs feed into A-levels, this personal development plan for yourself individually feeds into your personal development plan for marriage. Wonderful. Your personal vision feeds into your marriage vision. That's right. And this is very, very key. When I say, are you marriage material? If you have not prepared yourself as an individual, what you think just because you say she's hot and I want her for my wife, you think that makes it okay? It doesn't. You can't go and scoop some woman off the road or drag one brother or scoop one brother off the streets and then say, let's do it. When you're not making good use of your own gift of life, your own gift of an ability. And it's important. We need to be people that are fostering development and fostering growth within each other. If I can't help my wife, what more value can I add to somebody else outside of my house?
It's true. That's so true. Thank you.
Hope that helps.
Yes, that was power packed. Absolutely awesome. I mean, I really love that self-evaluation, monthly evaluation. And it's funny because that will help you right now. That would help you right now. If you take that on board, reviewing yourself, giving yourself an MOT check every so often, you will begin to see the change in yourself. you'll begin to see how far you've come. You'll see kind of what areas you haven't really, you know, what areas still need a bit of oiling,
That's right.
you know, and what areas you've really, you know, you've really changed in. And so I think that's absolutely brilliant.
Personal MOT is pass or fail, sis. So let's get this clear. Like, so it's like you pass or you fail. And then when you're failing, it's like, yeah, these are no good, these are no good, these are no good. These are the areas we need to improve on.
Exactly. And
failed.
You can go and begin to, but at least it gives us the opportunity to begin to tick areas off.
That's right. Absolutely.
And improve.
Absolutely.
You know,
that's what it's all about.
Because imagine just you know, for some people, you know, let's just say some people, they're not big communicators. But in a marriage, you cannot be some closed boxed person. You can't run into a shed every time something happens, lock the door, throw a blanket over your head like you did when you was 5 years old when you were scared after you watched some kind of movie. Do you know what I mean? Like, these things have to change.
That's right.
And a lot of the times, people still run into rooms and throw blankets over their heads.
Absolutely. We've got grown men, grown women doing exactly that.
Still running into the room and throwing blankets over their heads and crying, expecting to come to, you know, to be comforted in some way. However, that's also an area that needs to be, you know, that one needs to understand that they need to prepare in. The area of communicating expressively with somebody else.
Yeah.
You know, to a point where you do not care what you look like expression, in a sense, you know. And if he or she can't handle that, then, you know, they need to go and sort that out. Because, you know, when something, you know, a lot of the times people, when we're single,
yes,
we can talk to a friend and cry because we kind of know, okay, this friend knows me. Yeah. They're not going to judge me. Yeah. They've been with me since I was how old. We've been through X amount together. They know the deal, you know. But then when you meet somebody, obviously I'm not saying to just go start crying straight away because you might chase them off or you might chase her off. You know what I'm saying? But that's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is beginning to understand that areas of communication is one of the areas where a lot of things go sour very quickly.
Of course, absolutely.
Very, 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 very
Absolutely.
quickly. So, you know, one of the things that you have to be able to do, you know, to get yourself ready is communication. You know, a lot of people have split up, divorced, split children up, took one son, one took one daughter. You know, a whole load of mess has happened because grown people have not come to a true understanding of what real communication is.
You know what? That's so powerful. Like, for those of you that don't know us or not that familiar with us, in coaching of marriages, coaching of couples, one thing, like, our power play is communication. 100%. And Sarah's she's touching on it now. It's our power play. And I'm just thinking about it now as you're talking. If you guys would like us to do like a webinar, just this kind of a webinar on core power play, communication power play for couples, for marriages, then, you know, just note that in the comments below. So we'll review that and we'll see what we can do. If that's something you want, you can just type communication webinar, or webinar, something like that, and we'll work on that. We'll see if we can put something together, because that is the foundation. I talk about these plans and these structures and those things. Look, if I've got a great plan and I can't talk to my wife about it, if I've got some really good ideas and I can't talk to my daughter or my son about those things, if I'm unable to evaluate some of the challenges I've had in my past because of my inability to speak to my dad, speak to my mom, speak to my family members, speak to my siblings, to unravel these challenges, if I cannot communicate, I cannot create a safe place in my home for us to develop. And this is what, you've touched on it so powerfully, and this is what happens. You have these men. I'll tackle men because this is some of what I've seen.
Yes, tell them.
I've
tell those men.
I've come with. It's like I'm familiar with a chap, and this chap comes home and doesn't talk to his children. Comes home and doesn't talk to his wife. Spends hours in the betting shop. And don't judge him. I'm just giving you examples. Spends hours in the betting shop. This particular person does not have they've got a good number of children. He's a long time married to his wife. But I wonder how this happened. Do you understand? And it's really because there's an inability to open up and deal with things that were there in the past.
Come on now.
And what you begin to foster is a broken home. You're there, but you're absent.
That's right.
Do you understand? You're a present, absent father. Listen, that is not marriage material from God's perspective. Yeah, that's not marriage material. That's not what you want to go into your marriage with. You want to be prepared before you want to. some people need to do communication training. That's what we're talking about with this webinar.
Yes,
some people need to do communication training where they're able to be open, able to talk more, able to break down the barriers and the walls that stop them from developing their relationship. Like, listen, are you marriage material? Are you willing to restructure yourself? Are you willing to restructure your character for the benefit of your marriage?
That's right.
And this is the reality. Some people be like, no, this is the way I am. If they don't like me the way I am, if they don't love me the way I am, then they're not for me. And what do you say to that?
We used to tackle that, because if you think that, if you agree with what Ezekiel's just said, if you're the type of person that you feel that you should be loved the way you are, who you know, how they've met you and all that, just let us know in the comments, because I do feel like some people do feel like, you know, they how can I say it? Not that they're perfect, but, you know,
God's gift to the world.
Thank you. You know, so, you know, it's like, I was like, well, look, I don't need you.
Are you God's gift to the world?
Even if you don't want me, someone else will. So they never really settle down. They never look at themselves. It's always kind of the other person who isn't right.
Yes.
In a sense.
Yes.
So, I mean, gosh, this topic is juicy. So I've got so much to say. It's just like, I've just got so much to say.
Come on, keep coming. I want to hear it. I want to hear it all.
Because I really feel like if people don't come to the understanding that marriage isn't about them, this is the thing. Marriage isn't about you. Once you enter into that union, it's not about you anymore. So dealing with selfishness is a massive factor.
Come on now.
We just said about communication. Now, a selfish person could be a very good communicator. You know, could be a very good communicator. However, they have not come to the understanding that the world doesn't revolve around them.
That's right.
And because of that, they're not able to give this 100%. You know, it's more a lot of taking. And if you find that you're in a relationship that you're doing a lot of giving and this person's doing a lot of taking, then there's an evaluation that needs to be taking place. Okay, especially like the person who's doing all the taking, you need to really see if this person has anything to give. So for me, it's selfishness is a big thing, you know, because we understand that when you are married, that has to go.
Yeah.
And if that doesn't give, the relationship doesn't work. Okay, the relationship just doesn't work. When you're self-centered in a marriage, you begin to lose a lot of the blessing that comes with marriage, you know? So for me, selfishness is a big thing. You know, that's something that people have to deal with. You know, oh, my church, my area of work, the house I would like to live in, the type of wedding I've always wanted.
Come on now.
It's not the type of wedding we want. This is the type of wedding I've always wanted.
Not the type of wedding we can afford. Not the type of wedding we can work towards, we can build towards.
That's it.
It's all about me.
You know, I've only wanted 2 children, so that's all you're getting out of me, love.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? You're not sitting down to discuss, okay, how many children would you like? You know, stuff like that. And even compromising, all these kind of things, all of this takes place.
Yeah.
You know, and I really feel like people need to begin to understand that, you know, you can't be, oh, I'm going on holiday with my girls.
My people, them.
And, you know, I'm going on holiday with my guys. No, it's we're going on holiday, and if your friends would like to come along, then we'll see. We'll see if there's, you know, if there's availability, if I get on with them, whatever it may be, you know. But just beginning to change that aspect in your life, if you know you're a very me person, that is something that you definitely have to begin to deal with in order to, you know, even in order to attract the person that the Lord has for you, because, you know, the Lord's not going to send somebody to suffer in your hand. You know, someone's mum don't want to send their son to suffering, you know, in another person's hand, you know, in a sense. So just that dealing with that selfish factor, I think it's a great place to start. You know, digging deep, asking yourself questions, evaluating situations that you've been in the past, okay, other relationships that you've experienced as well. And if you are married and you're watching this and you are still dealing with the me selfish factor, then, you know,
You're in the right place.
Yes, I was about to say you're
definitely in the right place. Listen, so I'm going to chuck out a question to you now. Sister's asked you a couple of questions already. So if you feel that marriage is all about, do you feel you are required to change before you get into marriage? So first question is, do you feel you should be willing to change, that you need to change before you go into marriage? That's question number one. Yeah. Question number two that I've just popped up now is, what are your marriage goals? So for those of you that are married, so for those of you that are not married, what are your goals for marriage? So I'll bring one goal for you now, and I want to hear what you guys have got to say. Remember what I said, your comments help us foster this conversation. So when we talk about marriage goals, and I'm kind of building on what I said to you previously. Yeah. As an individual, when we think about our children, we were looking at our life plan a few years back. We were talking about, we were doing a review, and we were talking about the type of children we want to raise and what we need to do to help them become the type of people we believe God wants them to be. So we're praying for them, we're introducing them to particular activities and those kind of things we said we were going to do. So alongside that, what we've established is that life as an individual is about development. It's about personal development. Yeah. Whatever you do, becoming better at what you do. Yeah. And I believe in much the same way, a goal for marriage should be personal development. It's an extension of you as an individual. Yes. So we're saying in this marriage, you should be stronger or better at whatever you do. However you came in, as we progress, the longer you're in this marriage, you should be getting better at something. That's right. You should be developing and becoming stronger at something. Yeah. Saying, as for me, and as for the children that we rear and we raise up in this relationship. So it's funny because I genuinely feel a lot of people don't have. It's not like a sexy phrase, personal development, personal growth. It's like, hard work, let's become better. It don't sound sexy.
Yeah, it really does.
Do you know what I mean? And it's like, I heard a man say one time, he said, the evidence of growth is change. And people are kind of itchy about this changing thing. They don't want to. And what I notice is, for a lot of people, I could be wrong about some young people, but for a lot of people, talking from our generation even, a lot of what the guys are concerned about is, you got a hot gal. My goal is to have a hot gal for a wife. And that's it. It's like, she hot. And it's like, they focus so much on the physical aspect. I think 2 episodes back, episode 1, I think I made the point that I truly believe at its core, it's fundamental, marriage is a spiritual thing. So if you judge your marriage naturally to start with, you're already off to a bad start. You're off to a poor start because what you've done is you've put diesel in a petrol car, basically.
And that's only going to go so far.
You understand that?
It cuts out.
Now you see that
and costs you a whole lot of money to fix.
That's powerful. You can tell we've had some experiences before, yeah. So, but that's powerful, right? That's powerful because obviously, if you're putting the wrong fuel in your vehicle, we're not just heading to the wrong destination. We're putting the wrong fuel inside of it. That's heading nowhere fast. That's heading nowhere fast. And I truly believe that this is an issue that some of us as people, both people of God, as natural people, people getting into marriages, people looking towards marriage, this is a big issue. This is a big challenge that I see, Rex. What are your thoughts?
Oh, babes. I mean, I'm in agreement with you. I'm in agreement. I really feel like you've touched on that anyway. You've hit the nail on the head with all of that. But for me, I still think that people can still look at it from a different perspective. Tell me. It's like, oh no, but I don't need to change now because we change when we get together. You know, I can't be perfect now because we need to grow together. We need to become perfect together. So why am I going to work on all this MLT business? Why am I going to do all this identity check? I need to do that now.
You know that reminds me of?
I'll do that when me and him walk down the aisle and I've got the ring on and, I'll sort myself out then. Because it's only until then that I can guarantee that this is actually going to work.
Like, you know what? We've heard that so many times. And it's my sisters. I don't know why it's always my sisters that are coming with that. We're coming with that. When they come to us and we're sitting there, we're talking, we're coaching, it's like, why is it always my sister? The guys don't really come with that. It's always the sisters.
No, because the guys are more like, from a male perspective, it's more, all right, well, she can cook in it, she can keep the house, can she have kids? Yeah, all right, she can have kids. So I don't need much. Do you know what I mean? I feel like men make it out as they don't need much. And women seem to be the ones that seem to be more demanding. When realistically, when you enter into the scene, the demand is quite heavily on both sides.
Absolutely.
It's heavy on both sides. You know, so even if the guy comes across all cool and, oh yeah, no, do you know what I mean? I'm easygoing. When he gets married, easygoing turns into something else.
Come on now. You're telling the truth.
Do you know what I'm saying? Because reality hits.
Yes.
Reality hits. And it's those that are willing to go all the way that continue to work on all these differences.
Come on.
And begin to, you know, have these, work on the experiences that they're going through. It's the ones that realize that, oh, so I have to put the work in. Nah, I'm good. Do you know what I mean? And it just doesn't really... They don't have the balance. They just don't have the balance.
That's powerful. And that's going to lead us on to our next point very shortly. I was going to say to you, what that reminds me of is it reminds me of the people that say, "Oh, I'm not going to save now."
Save later.
Yeah, they've only got a little benefit check. They've only just got their first £12,000 job. This ain't the time to save, but they'll save when they make 30, 50, 100. If you can't
or when
save,
they win the lottery.
Come on now. And if you can't save with a little 12k, what makes you think you have the capacity, the dexterity, the character to save when you get to 100? Oh, but I'll have more money then. No, the ratio will still be the same. You'll have 100% of what you've got now. You'll have 100% of what you've got then.
That's right.
And if you can't save a percentage now, how can you save a bit? Well, it's more money. It doesn't actually work that way.
Yeah.
Powerful. You brought it home and you were saying that it requires more than we expect. It requires more. And we open up with this and we're trying to give you all the juice, all the keys early on, guys. So episode 1, we spoke about what is really required, how much is really required for you to kind of give in your relationship. And hopefully those of you who have been with us a few episodes now, you know the answer to this. So a lot of people want you to believe that relationships are 50-50, but it's not.
No.
Relationships for a marriage to work successfully, what is it says? It's
100%
for you and 100% commitment from me.
That's right.
And that's how we divvy it up. It's all of you and all of me.
That's right.
And I think this is another clear criteria for whether people are truly ready. You spoke about selfishness so poignantly, so well earlier on. This is another point about whether a person is really ready to get involved in a relationship. Because you are not marriage material if you're not willing to devote all of yourself to the commitment of a relationship with someone else for the rest of your life. And it's all of yourself. Some people are still working out mummy issues, daddy issues, you know what I'm saying, sibling issues.
Career, everything.
Do you understand? And because of that, they've not yet built up the base, the capacity to share with the other person, to share. Look, I'm not saying part of yourself, to share all of yourself.
That's it.
And this is the issue. If you're not willing, if you're not ready, and you know what, I'll be real. I guess we learned some of this the hard way. That's the truth. And we're here with you guys now, sharing this with you because we know what it took for us to get to the space we are now. We've not arrived, but we've left the station.
Definitely.
And it's really about trying to help you guys empower and enrich your relationships. Because many of us get into these positions where we're mistaken and we think, 50% is what it takes. But it's not true. 50% is not enough. 50%, I don't even think that will get you by, realistically. Maybe.
Well, 50%.
Maybe.
Because, even me, well, 50, I don't know. I can't remember. It's a long time ago. But for, even just early relationship, I feel like that whole 50% does kind of start because people date.
Come on.
Because people date.
I
feel like the 50-50 thing comes from there. Okay, so when we go out, he'll pay for dinner. When I come round to his house, I will clean up. Do you get me? It's not because they're not giving everything straight away. So when they enter the marriage, it's still that. But I didn't give you everything when we were dating. So why do you think I'm going to give everything now?
And it's funny because we touched on this. We were a couple of friends the other day, and it was what's mine is mine, and what's
yours is yours.
And you see, this is the issue that we want to tackle. This is one of the things we want to break wide open. And this, I'll be real with you guys. And we're going to do a real kind of just a candid show on dating at some point soon. If you want that, talk to us. But listen, check it out in the comments below. Check it out in the comments if you want us to talk about dating. But this is why. This is one of the core reasons why dating is not a prerequisite for marriage. It is not.
Can I get a clap?
It is not.
A clap in the statement?
It's not. It's not.
Ooh,
dating is not. You know why? Listen.
Yeah, it is not.
Listen, we go through a preliminary stage that can support, that we can build on.
Yes.
So when you're building a structure, you go for the foundation stage. The foundation has to be able to hold the weight of the building. If you're building a really tall building like a skyscraper, your foundation has to go real deep. Dating doesn't do that.
It doesn't. It's
Dating
just that scraping the surface,
and this is the problem.
It's just scraping the surface and everyone's pretending while dating.
I think, you know what? I feel like, look, I'm feeling it now, man. You lot are stirring me up. I want to do something like 101 problems with dating. Like, that's what I feel like I want to do because
it's just scraping the surface.
Listen, it's like this is a real issue. We think it's been. Let's go back to episode 1. If you've not watched it, you need to go back and watch episode 1. But you remember we spoke about this facade, this pretend, this mirage of the wedding, of the marriage, basically. And we weren't really looking at the marriage; we were looking at the wedding.
Yeah.
And that's what people do. Again, people present this mirage, and it's dating, and they make you think that dating is actually a form of marriage preparation. They make you think that it's actually a form of true intimacy, true love.
Yeah.
Hear me now. I'm not saying people have not gone from dating to an extremely successful marriage. I'm not saying that. But the truth of the matter is, tell them, dating, Rex, it doesn't. It's rare. I don't even know what to say.
Well, you know what? Yeah, listen. This is not the you should be dating session. This is. Do you think you're marriage material?
If you're dating, then you listen. If you're dating, you need to really consider if you are marriage material. What do I mean by that? Listen, if you're in a relationship with someone that doesn't have a definitive end, a definitive goal, if you've gotten with someone, you're like, yeah, she's hot, he's hot, I like them. You know what I mean? It's like, what do they call it now? It's flexible relationship. I don't know, whatever you call it. And you're in it because you feel like, say, this is the in thing for us right now. He's meeting all my needs. She's meeting all my needs. We're moving. There's a problem. I don't think this is my opinion. This is me. Yeah. I don't think that you are, at this, as it stands right now, marriage material. You're in this marriage. You're in this relationship, and there's no end. There's no date. There's no goal in sight. And it's, you know what, my sisters, it's like, you know what, I feel it because in your heart and mind, you're probably like, yeah, you know what, one day he'll marry me. Like, that's not good enough.
Yeah, no.
That is not good enough.
It's not.
You're just waiting around. And this kind of, I remember I was talking to my cousin a while back, and we were talking about, she coined this phrase, and I like it. It's like, try before you buy. And this is what a lot of people want to do. They want to try before they buy. You get what I'm talking about? So it's like, before the marriage, they want to experience all the trappings of marriage. And I had a blessed lady once talk to myself and the young prophet Jeremiah, SB. Was her name, and she said to us, the reason people like dating is because it has all of the characteristics of marriage, but it lacks the commitment. And I will never forget what SB said, because it was powerful. I was a much younger man at the time, and when she said it, I was like, yes, and I see it now. It's clear. I can walk away from a date any day of the week.
Any day of the week.
There is no commitment. I've not signed anything. I've not, like, even though I can say I've not made it public, I've not made it formally public in a legal sense. I might tell everyone, oh yeah, this is my girl, that's my girl, that's my girl. What happened? Oh, we broke up. Oh, we broke up. You understand?
Yeah.
There is no commitment. And people now, because of this poor foundation, people have made marriage like this. We spoke about this last time, where it's like, yeah, we can just disannul it in a day, break it up, divorce in a couple of weeks. So they've now made it like marriage is this form of dating. But you know what? Let me not sidetrack onto this. But you got to understand what's going on.
As you're talking about, I just keep, that whole thing.
Tell me. Entangle. Oh, allow me. You know what? I knew it was going to come up today. I knew it was going to come up.
It's just as you're talking about this, because it's just. Sorry, guys. That thing. It was just that was just on my hour. I had to just let that laugh out. Anyway, so moving on. Okay, so
should we run through some comments? You got something? Or should we run through some comments?
You're marriage material? Do you think you're marriage material? I wrote a few things down that I really think that, a lot of people can use to sort of evaluate, in a sense, whether they are, marriage material. Their morals.
Absolutely.
People's morals, people's background, you know, people's understanding of marriage. You know, figure out what marriage really is. Figure out what marriage really is. The definition of marriage. And another thing that could, you know, that people could use to evaluate whether they're ready. Marriage material is examples of marriages in their circle.
Come on now.
Powerful. You know, a lot of people base their relationships on, you know, how things were for certain people around them, or a lot of people look at other people's relationships as well and try to balance things up in that as well. So examples of marriages, you know, like in a sense, okay, so two people, you know, like some people, their parents were married, but their dad was never at home, like that guy that you mentioned. Their dad was never really at home. He worked, he brought in all this money. They never wanted for anything, you know, but he was never really there. So has that now affected this child who's now an adult male? So when he gets married, he thinks he's marriage material because his dad was married to his mom. So there must have been marriage material to have got married, but there were certain things missing that his dad had missing, but he hasn't tackled these things, so it's likely he could get married and these things be missing in his home. That's right.
Come on now. Powerful,
you know,
powerful.
So for me, those are just a few things that like can help people to begin to evaluate whether they are marriage material, whether they're ready for marriage. All these kind of things is evaluating your past experiences and looking at your inner circle. You know, looking at where you get your examples of what a marriage is from. Because if you get if you had a bad experience growing up in a home where, you know, things were, the marriage wasn't stable, or I remember, or you grew up in a situation where mum was always like, listen, don't worry, when he's gone, we're gonna put the telly on, we're gonna have some, everything's gonna, you know, what experiences have you had? These things determine how you view marriage.
The role of a husband, the role of a wife, your part, the part that you play in that dynamic. Yes, absolutely.
Exactly. So those are just a few things that I wanted to say, you know, that people definitely should go back and evaluate and have a look at, and even talk to someone as well, because a lot of the times, you know, there are so many things that are deep down inside that have not come up. And a lot of the times, especially if you're not trying to be with someone for 2-3 years before you walk down the aisle, it's best to have yourself sorted so that when the question comes, you can answer them. When emotional situations arise, you know how to kind of handle them. And these things come by getting mentoring, getting coaching, getting I don't want to say therapy, but like counselling, just speaking to somebody. That's right.
Sometimes just a friend. Sometimes you just need a friend who's objective, who's a good friend who gives you honest counsel. Exactly. That's sometimes what it is.
Who will just tell you the truth, you know. So those are just a few things that I wanted to kind of mention. And obviously you mentioned the whole 50-50 thing. It's not 50-50, it's 100%.
That's right.
And obviously I mentioned about, you know, selfishness and things like that. So those are.
Let's run through a few comments and then we're going to come back and let's talk a little bit about our story. Let's pick up on something that we went through and our experience. So
comments.
All right. Hello, Kat Johnson. Hello, Kerry Bernard. Miss I. Kelman, how you doing? Queen B. Hate. Also, I. Kelman, good evening, sir. Mrs. I. Kelman says, yes, agreed. Kat Johnson, yes. Know who you are before getting into relationships. Yes. Powerful. Agree with that. Mrs. I. Kelman, personal MOT. Yeah, we'll probably put something out for you guys so that you can just kind of download that and work with that. We did get someone asked for that last week. Well, that was a different sheet, but we'll work with that. Vision for lifestyle evaluation and growth. It's pass or fail. Well, yes, it is indeed. Communication webinar. Thank you, Kat Johnson, for that. Mrs. Akaman, question 1. Yes, you have to be willing to change because the two become one. So there's a fusion that has to happen. Powerful. You're not the same person, so there has to be some form of change and shifting as the process happens. That was excellent. Thank you so much. Wow. She said, diesel in a petrol car. Wow. Proverbs 18:22 says, he who finds a wife finds a good thing and obtains favor from the Lord. This infers you must be found as a wife, not a hot gal. So to be found as a wife, there's some changes. Yes, indeed. I agree. Mrs. Akelman, that have to occur from girl to woman to wife. Okay, changes, I believe she's talking about. If you're working on yourself and you pass your personal MOT, I don't think you will have to change that much, but both parties must be will to be flexible and compromise on matters. That's exact. Kat Johnson, that's such a powerful point. And you know, the point here is this. It's the willingness. You said it. And that's what I was asking. That's why we asked that question. Because if you don't have the willingness, if we unravel that a bit more, we unpeel that, we unfold that, what do we see? It's humility. If you don't have humility in a relationship, there's a problem. There's a challenge there because there's forever going to be friction. The scripture talks about the pride being abased, the Lord abasing the pride, but the humble getting more grace. And that's a power key. Another power key that we'll talk to you about in relationships. Humility is important. We'll talk about that shortly. Thank you for that comment. That was great. Mrs. I Can Win. She's clapping. And Latifah Safo, lovely to join you tonight. This is amazing. Thank you so much. We're so glad you're here with us. Yes. Lovely to see you on the stream. So let's dig deep. Let's talk about a challenge that we experienced that was evidence that we weren't marriage material. So I'm thinking back.
How far back are we looking?
Let's go anywhere. Like... I'll let you pull something. I've just something's pinged on me. So I remember. So way back when we were a lot younger. This is before marriage, and then Sarah would always ask me, or I say always, she'd ask me. We were dating, so obviously we've experienced the whole dating thing, and through personal experience, I've established I don't think it's valuable, especially not for my sons and my daughters. If that's something you want to try, but my counsel would be, please don't do it. There are better ways.
Latifah said it's honey.
Hey, my sister, God bless you. Hey, sister, honey.
Hey,
bless you richly. So, what was I going to say? So, going through that experience, what I found was that Sarah would ask me on certain times, so, are you going to marry me? She'd ask me that.
Yeah, because I'm straight up like that, you see.
And she said it to you guys on the last stream, and she weren't joking. She said like, she's the kind of woman to be like, will you marry me? You know, and she's the realness. So back in the day, she would ask me, she said, so are you going to marry me? And I was like, well, yeah. But the problem was this.
I'm just thinking, imagine if you said no. What would I have done? I'm like, listen, okay.
I don't know.
I'm calling my mum.
It depends what kind of game I would have gave you in it. But during that period, what I had, in hindsight, my perspective was always, I'll get married when I'm 35.
Can you imagine?
My mindset was,
what is that?
At 35, I'll get married. Listen, so
you don't even want to know how old we were when I asked him this question.
Yeah, we were young. So we were real young.
35.
And hear this. So it's like, at 35, we were already married. 13 years.
Yeah,
do you understand that?
13
so
years.
We were already married 13 years, had grown in the Lord massively, really developed our relationship. Yeah. But pre-marriage, dating period, my focus was totally elsewhere.
Definitely.
I did not have a focus towards, like, listen, my personal development plan was so skewed. I wasn't focused on character. I wasn't focused on career. I wasn't focused on financial literacy. I was just focused on get that money. It was a problem. It was a broken mindset and a skewed perspective. And if women are looking at a man saying, oh, he gets money. He gets money. He's great for me. But he doesn't have character. He doesn't have emotional intelligence. He doesn't have a good emotional quotient. He doesn't have a career. He doesn't have a skill. If he doesn't have some kind of ability, he doesn't have vision. He doesn't have a desire. He's not godly. Like I told you last episode, he's not a prayer. If he can't pray for you, he can't lead you. That's the wrong capacity. I was not fit for marriage. I was not fit. I was not marriage material at that point. Praise God, he worked on me. You know what I mean? He started to develop me. But this was key. This was really, really key. And this was one of the areas that I felt that it was a problem. I thought this was a big problem with me at that point in time, basically. Yeah, so...
Cool.
Yeah.
So what? So now it's my turn to talk about...
it's like she's quaking. So it's like, no, if you've got something, we can share something. Like I was thinking about... there says we got so many stories. I could talk about something else if you want me to.
No, okay, I guess for me, I think my thing at the time was more, I enjoyed a good night out. Do you know what I mean? I enjoyed a good night out. My husband's an indoor person.
I think they call it a homebody.
A homebody. I was more out there. Do you know what I mean?
Says is a socialite. I just like she's a socialite, man. Says is the party starter. Party starter.
I still can be to some degree, not joking.
Now she's a wonderful host. You know what I mean? She's
So for me, it was just more like, listen, if this man thinks he's gonna marry me and be like, oh sorry, you can't go out, I'm like, you are joking, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? That's not gonna happen. And so for me, it was more like, okay, is he gonna be like, oh, don't do this, don't do that, you can't go here, or you can't see this person, oh, why are you telling me you want to go to a weekend away with your friends, like all these kind of things. So for me, I really felt like that was where I was gonna put up barriers and be like, listen, if this is gonna work, you're gonna have to accept these things. Do you know what I mean? So for me, that was kind of like the main one. And obviously, because I knew you was a home buddy, I was kind of like, is he going to expect me to just be chilling in the house with him all the time? Like, no, you know. So I was thinking, for me, it was always, okay, how are we going to work around this? Yeah. How am I going to get him to be a bit more, you know, like me? And I'm sure... you know, and how is he gonna get me to be a bit more like him, kind of thing? And I really feel like that's probably where I think that was my main thing, because I really was a socialite. Yeah, I really was. Yeah, indeed. And I didn't want to be, you know, sometimes you're like, I don't want to grow old before my time.
Straight.
Do you know what I mean? If we're just being honest, you know, come on. I want to do this. I want to go here. I want to, you know, I want to wear this. I want to, you know.
You want to wear this? She wants to wear this.
You know, I want to have this type of thing, sort of thing. So yeah, so for me, it was mainly that. And you know what? To be honest, I kind of feel like it's the thing that helped the most was being able to find Christ and getting a good understanding of life. Yes. Because until that point, I really do feel like if we don't have that balance and that inward check, we could grow with those selfish aspects of don't change me. This was how I was when you met me. So why is it now we're married, you're trying to tell me no? Why didn't you tell me no when we were dating? Yes. Why didn't you tell me no 3 years ago? Why didn't you tell me to stop talking to X, Y, and Z when you showed up into the scene, kind of thing? So I feel like those areas definitely are main areas that I feel like people overlook. People overlook. Yeah. And if you're gonna say you want to settle down and become a person that is ready for marriage, you can't overlook these things. You can't just be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna let her do what she's doing, wait till we get married, because that's gonna cause a problem. Of course. That's gonna cause a problem. You know, as we were getting to that stage, it was kind of like, I was like, okay, I'm not gonna go out anymore because he doesn't really like it, or I'm leaving him at home. That's not really you know, I started considering you a lot more, and then it was kind of like, oh, do you want to come to this party? Do you want to come to this occasion? Obviously I never asked you if you want to come to a rave, but you know, but when it was like major parties, it was like, oh hun, are you gonna come? Obviously you'd be like, no, and I'd be like, oh please, and then you'd be like, all right, fine. You'd get dressed, fair enough, you come, you'll sit down, but you're there with me, you know, and you really started to take that on board. Do you get what I'm saying?
100%. Cool. That's powerful. And I think what you're talking about now kind of lends to what Sister Kat Johnson said in the comments below. And it's one of those things. It's really about the willingness, having that willingness to engage, the willingness to commit to the other person. Not 50%, 100%. Sarah gave a great example there. She asked me to come out and I'd first be like, no. Then she'd like kind of persist and I'd be like, okay, yeah. And in essence, that's what we've got to do in certain terms. We do these things for the other person. Not so much for ourselves, but it's also for the betterment of our relationship. And I know there are a lot of people in a lot of relationships that won't make the sacrifice to go against what their flesh wants to do for the benefit of their partner. So, or their husband and wife. So, that's powerful stuff. Cool. So, I think the last really point I was going to make today on this, we touched on it already, and I'm just going to come back to it really, but I guess the two key points are really about for you to really be marriage material, planning and preparation personal planning and preparation is a power play.
Definitely.
If you go into a relationship and you can demonstrate that you've got the faculties to actually consider ahead, not just for yourself but for the person you're going to. As a man, listen, that is massive. You need to be the visionary of your house. You need to be able to take what the Lord gives you and steer your house. And I'm saying that from a spiritual perspective. As a natural man, potentially a man who's not a Christian, your goal is essentially to lead your people forward. How do you do that? You need to have some understanding. You need to have some congruence in your worldview. You need to be very well committed grounded to what you believe and your perspective. You need to take your people forward. Like a man who's leading his house, who's kind of on shifting sands. Yeah, we're going to save today. Oh, we're not going to save anymore. Oh, we're gonna live in this part of London today. Oh, you know what? We're moving to the countryside. In fact, we're moving to. Then it's every month you're changing ideas, changing your mind, changing. There's no kind of, and it's not that you're being guided or directed by something. It's just, I've changed my mind. You're double-minded, triple-minded, quadruple-minded, not consistent in any one thing. That's really a problem. Yeah. So I think those are the things. And the other thing, just really to make a point to, is just I was
going to say, you know what? Because the first point that you mentioned about planning and preparation, when you think about it, I mean, for those of you who are not married yet, I think that is such a powerful tool for you to have, because it becomes very attractive actually. If you meet a guy who you go out on a date and he says to you, and you ask him, so what is it you do? Whatever you've gone out for a meal, whatever. And he begins to express certain things to you, you realise that this guy's actually quite clued up. And I could move forward with him.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? And even it can speed up that process for you not wanting to date for 1 year, 2 year, 3 year. It's just like, no, actually, I wouldn't mind being this guy's wife, because you know that if it's, if you're a faith-based person, the man is giving you clear examples that he's led by the Lord, he knows where he's going, and literally it's like, are you coming on this journey?
Yeah.
Kind of thing. And even for a woman to just know who she is and where she wants to be and what she wants to do and how she wants, it's attractive for a man to see a woman so well developed.
I think you said it in one of the previous episodes, and we were talking about the ideal, and you were like, you want a man who can present safety to you. And I think people don't understand that. So there's the kind of the physical aspect of safety and whatever you see that to be, but next to that there is this kind of psychological safety, this emotional safety, someone who thinks forward, who's planning, who's strategizing, who's structuring. And that's not always the man per se, but there needs to be a good degree of leading, a good degree of that visionary attribute from him. Yeah. And I think if you look at it from that perspective, what you're looking at is emotional intelligence, and you're seeing the strength in him.
That's right.
You're seeing that kind of psychological grit, and he's got that. And obviously, I can see why you say that's attractive, because obviously you feel as though you're protected.
Already.
He's planned.
Yeah,
exactly. So yeah, that's powerful. That's powerful.
Yeah. So I thought I'll just throw that in there.
Yeah. So I think really we're gonna close on that. Really, I'm gonna go back to the point that I kind of hammered earlier on. If you came in late, go back and catch that part of the video. But dating is not a prerequisite for marriage, and I want you to understand that completely. If you're in a relationship and you're dating, I want you to ask yourself a question. The one question I want to ask you is, where are we going? Seriously, ask yourself that question. I'll say it to you again. Where are we going? Because if you're in this bubble, what is the purpose? I see dating as purposelessness. But that's for another video. All right, we've been with you today. Thank you so much. I think we've touched on all of the comments today. Loving you guys so much. Loving you guys so much.
So Sister Honey said it's about vision. She said vision. Then a heart after the Lord is number one.
Praise God.
Definitely.
Yeah, so thank you so much. Yes. It's been a joy to serve you guys today. Remember, here on this playlist, Marriage Matters Live, our focus is to help you develop strength and vision for your marriage. We're here to equip you. So if you're preparing for marriage, just about to go into it, or you're finding yourself already in marriage, happily married, or maybe not so, we're here to help you develop strength, character, and resolve in your marriage for the days ahead.
Yes.
Okay?
And don't forget to, if you're watching and you're not subscribed, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification button. Please share this video if you think if you think there's anyone that you know that could benefit from what it is that we've shared and the comments that have been shared as well. And also let people know that we're out here and we are here to help, and we love you all so much. Listen,
it's a massive goal for us. It's a massive goal for us. And I want us to try and get these videos in this playlist up to 100 likes if we can. So please, as Sister Sarah said, do share these videos. The whole purpose of this is to help, as I said, to help impact and empower, educate and empower marriages. Please, guys. So do what you can to share this video for us, so we can get people growing and developing in the strength of marriage, and understanding that a lot of these things that people are presenting as true tools or true perspectives of marriage are not so.
Yes, and we've got in the comment section here, do you agree with group dating? And Chris has said dating. So I really think that at one point we will tackle the dating.
Absolutely.
And you know what, dating is a big topic, because some people the views behind it are so wide,
That's right.
So yes, but we definitely will be tackling dating.
Yeah, so
because it keeps coming up in the conversation.
Let's quickly answer that question, I guess.
Which one?
Group dating.
Do you agree with group dating?
We were massive advocates of that when we were coming up.
Yeah,
it presents a position of safety.
Yeah.
So if you're in a group and you're meeting someone for the first time, you don't know them, or you're kind of getting to know someone, the only time I tell you that dating is cool, and I won't call it dating, I call it something else, just going out with friends, but essentially is in a group setting.
Yeah.
In a group setting, it's ideal. And there's loads of safeguards we can talk about, like not going to people's houses, not meeting one-on-one.
Not talking on the phone after a certain time.
Thank you so much. But as Sister Sarah said, a lot of that we're going to bring in for another video. I can't promise it will be the next video, but as the Lord prompts us and we're directed, we will come out and we will really address and tackle that. We've got some strong views on dating,
and you never know, we might have special guests on for that.
For sure.
I really believe that will open up the floor for the conversation.
That's right.
If we brought in a few guests to chat with us on that as well. Yeah, that would be great.
Yeah.
Yes.
We good?
Yes.
Love you guys so much. I've been Ezekiel.
Oh, Sam, just still in the comments. And I'm Sarah.
And we've been here today with Marriage Matters Live. All right, guys. So we'll see you again real soon.
Yes.
God bless. Have a wonderful evening.